Hi, I'm Mike DiMatteo, the head football coach at Hinsdale Central High School. Hinsdale is about 45 minutes west of the city of Chicago and around, an hour north of Kankakee. I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about program development. I think it's one of the areas that I know I'm constantly working on and getting ideas, and I thought I would share some of the things that have come across my desk over the period of time that I've been a head coach, and some of the things that have helped us as well. Prior to being at Hinsdale Central, I was the head football coach at Lake Zurich High School also, where having such a great staff that I had, we were able to turn around a football program and in some ways turn around a school, and we're very proud of that. As far as program development is concerned, from the football aspect of it, especially if you're a brand new head coach, the one piece of advice that I have that I was able to get from a guy named Grant Blaney, who's in the Hall of Fame and was the head football coach at Buffalo Grove High School. I had a chance to meet with Coach Blaney, and he gave me a piece of advice that I never forgot. And that piece of advice is find the finest offensive line coach that you can find. Don't have somebody do it just because they're interested in it. They have to really buy into it and become a great offensive line coach. That's where it begins and ends. And for me, I've been very, very fortunate in my head coaching career to have two outstanding offensive line coaches while I was at Lake Zurich. Joe Lewandowski, who is now the offensive coordinator at Hoffman Estates High School, and Gary Gaiman. Both of those guys, and Gary Gaiman is with me here at Hinsdale Central, both of those guys are absolutely outstanding at what they do, some of the best I've ever been around, and they have certainly impacted our program in both places. So in terms of just pure football, that's the one thing that I would say that a head coach needs to find. The other thing is find coaches that are like you. And what that means is if you're a head coach, you're probably incredibly passionate about the game of football, and it's not something that you do on a part-time basis. You have to surround yourself with coaches that believe like you do, that believe there is no off season, that are willing to work in the off season, whether they get paid or not, and are willing to do all those little things and want to truly assist you. Again, at both places I've been at, whether it was at Lake Zurich or Hinsdale Central, I've been extremely fortunate to have some great coaches. Brian Stortz is now the head coach at Lake Zurich, and he's done an outstanding job. He was our special teams coordinator at Lake Zurich and did an outstanding job. Bill Helzer was our defensive coordinator at Lake Zurich. He's now the head coach at Hoffman Estates. Both dedicated guys and a number of staff members. And of course at Hinsdale Central, Tom Dorrance, Gary Gaiman, Jamie Pass, our offensive coordinator, John Malone. I mean, these are guys that have been around for a long time and are very, very good at what they do. And without them, I would have a really hard time trying to do the things that we do. So you have to find guys that are really dedicated to the school and to your program. And if you can find that, then you're in a really good position. So I think in terms of program development, that's the very first thing. Surround yourself with really great people. And again, I'm pretty fortunate. The other thing is, especially if you're trying to turn around a program that has not had a lot of success, is getting your players to buy into what you're doing. And that's a lot harder than you would think, especially if you're taking over for somebody who was well-liked or was successful, etc. Because there are some obstacles there, and one of them is loyalty. Kids are going to be loyal. Even if it was a losing program, they're going to be loyal to the guy because that's how kids are. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you can use that to your advantage. Anything that you can do to get your players involved in the program, to get them feel a sense of ownership, and for that matter, for your coaching staff as well. Give them a sense of ownership. Don't try to do everything by yourself, but use those guys and use their enthusiasm, whether it's players or coaches. And that's going to pay off for you in the long run because they're going to feel part of it. I think one of the big mistakes that we as head coaches make, because we have so much vested in what we're trying to do, is that we tend to pull things to ourselves and we want to do everything. We want to make everything right. When in reality, to my mind anyway, the most important thing you can do is delineate to your coaches what your expectations are and help them reach those expectations. The more you can teach your coaches what you want done, the more they're going to get involved and they're going to accomplish it. And if you inherited an experienced staff like I did here at Hinsdale Central, you just point them in a direction and get out of their way and let them go. And of course, if things aren't going the way that you want, let them know that. An experienced coach who's had success is going to understand that, and they're going to do everything they can to help you. We take our kids and we take our incoming seniors and we put them into 10. We choose 10. And the coaching staff chooses these 10 players, sometimes 12 depending on the year. And we call these guys our huddle group leaders. And basically what we do is we take all the kids in our program and we divide them up among those 10 or 12 kids equally. And those 10 or 12 kids then are the charges of one of these huddle group leaders. And his job is to maintain contact, to help them out when they need help, to find out how, if somebody needs help with their grades, how they can help them, etc. What we're trying to do is develop a sense of ownership in the program and to be available for those kids. Plus, it gives those 10 or 12 kids a sense of leadership. One of the things that over the course of time I've discovered is that if you don't have truly great senior leaders, and I didn't believe that at one point in time. I thought, well, just great players. It doesn't work that way. You have to have great senior leaders, and if you can develop that, that's going to hopefully, and in more cases than not, lead your team the next season to a rather successful season. If the best you can have that particular season is 4-5, those seniors are going to lead the way for that. We have a philosophy here at Hinsdale Central that our success is not determined by wins and losses. Our success is determined by the kind of young men we can turn out of our program. And what are they like in 10 years? Are they positive contributors to the community? Are they good dads? Are they strong men? Do they work hard? These are the kinds of things that we look towards, and we try to help develop along with moms and dads and the community, etc. And if we can do that, well, the wins and losses take care of themselves, and we really, truly believe that. I've said that in pretty much every interview I've ever given, and we really mean it. I think the other thing is you have to have high expectations for your program. And everybody wants to get to the state championship, etc. But what we're talking about is how do your players act in school? How do they act towards each other during the game? How do they act towards each other in practice? Are they willing to help the freshmen, for example? We have every year a number of our seniors come back and literally coach on the freshman level to let those freshmen know that they're not out there on an island and that they are accepted as part of our football family. Our sophomores and our varsity practice together for precisely that same reason. Our varsity kids are coaching our sophomores when they're at the back of the line or whatever the case may be. It also allows us as a coaching staff, instead of having 4 varsity coaches coaching both sides of the ball, we have 8 varsity coaches that have a specific position to learn. And then we take our staff and divide it up on game day where we'll have X number of guys, usually 3 or 4 guys assigned to be the sophomore staff. But again, it's this idea of togetherness and family, and football is a much different game than most of the other games out there for a whole bunch of different reasons. And we try to get our kids to understand that if we're going to be successful on the football field, it has to be done in that type of a family type atmosphere where we have to depend on each other. And these are some of the things that we do. Ownership is a big key, and if I have any advice, that would be the thing. Develop some ownership with your athletes throughout the program, and some ownership in the school too. It is cool to like your school, and we're fortunate at Hinsdale Central that our kids really like their school. And at Lake Zurich, that wasn't the case initially, but through the efforts of our players and our coaches, it became a great place in terms of liking their school. And we're real proud of that, and Coach Dortz has continued that tradition. So those are some of the things that we think are important in program development. There's a lot more. There's a million different ideas out there, and I would encourage you to seek out the most successful coaches and coaches in general. And get their ideas. Everybody's got some great ideas, and we're certainly not shy to ask for help, absolutely. You can reach me if you have any questions at spreadoffense@gmail.com. Have a great day.